Welcome, everybody. This is the RP Ginger coming at you again with another exciting episode of Storm King's Thunder. This is session 35 after a little bit of a hiatus with scheduling issues. We are back at it again with the party and the war against the giants. Last we left off, the party fell into the schemes of a giant disguised as King Hecaton, the king of giants. The party was tricked into retrieving a ancient, powerful artifact called the Nightstone and brought it before King Hecaton before he shed his mask and revealed himself as none other than the Cloud Giant's giant lord, Countess Sansari, the Lady in Masks. She revealed that her scheme was to reunite the Nightstone and the Noonstone and bring forth the Song of Storms, the endless storm that would plunge the world into apocalypse. She then revealed above the party the dark stormy clouds parted, and her floating fortress was above them all along. Cloud giants and Aarakocra began to descend upon them and attack the barbarian civilization and the party. It was also revealed that during the fight that Warrendel, the resident sorcerer of the party, for some reason had turned tail and began to fight against his own party members, along with Lorwyn, Reikliviant's wife. They both turned and began to fight the party for some unknown reason, forcing themselves to fight back. Reikliviant destroyed his wife, and the party killed Warrendel. Both of those new formed enemies shattered into a million pieces of ice, but it wasn't enough. Being faced against the giants and already heavily beaten down, one of the cloud giants was able to overcome the party pretty much single-handedly, knocking them all unconscious. And that is where we pick up this scene. I believe it was, who was the last man standing? Was it you, Octavius? I believe it was. No, it wasn't you. It was Reikliviant. Right, it was Reikliviant.
No, Warrendale actually took me out.
Yeah, you're right. Reikliviant, you are in the middle of this battlefield. You hear in the distance the cry of your own tribe as you look behind and see in the distance cloud giants throwing massive boulders onto the civilization that you were raised and grown up in, sworn to protect. You are the protector of storms, but now you are protecting nothing. You look before you, and as your ears are kind of ringing, you're still heavily breathing, having faced the fact that you just potentially killed your wife. You look up and you see the cloud giant, this warrior that has smushed your newfound friends, your tribe, into oblivion. You see Octavius passed out in the ground. You see Livy passed out in the ground. You see the sorcerer that taunted you smashed into a million pieces, and you charge forth at this cloud giant, but it's not enough. You strike him once, you strike him twice, but it's still not enough. Just a bare kind of flesh wound on his leg, sorry. And he spins around and just punches you into the ground, and that's the last thing you see is darkness, and then nothing but ringing. That ringing turns into a bunch of techno radiant colors, many different colors, a hypnotizing color, and before we know it, Warrendel, we snap back to you. The last thing you remember was trying to dodge and evade this Hecaton. You knew something was up and you knew you needed to get away, but your invisibility running out and the giant and the tribesfolk finding you several hours before this event's taking place ended up casting a spell and entrancing you in a hypnotic pattern. You're still coming in and out of this daze, Warrendel. There's visions that spark between these radiant colors that are flashing in your eyes, a bright red, and then suddenly you're floating in the clouds, a bright blue, and then you see this castle that's parting up as you come through the storm clouds and see this absolutely massive floating castle sitting on the dark stormy cloud that was raining upon you, a flash of yellow, and you're now at this gate. You see this massive drawbridge being drawn open and two absolutely enormous air elementals standing guard. You're dragged as a flash of green hits you and you're kind of in this dazed form. You feel your legs dragging against the cold white stone of this castle, and you see more of these Aarakocra standing guard as another drawbridge is being pulled open. You're dragged down immediately to the left after you enter this massive edifice. You look around and you see big kind of white hallways enormous sconces with flames that kind of are glowing these different colors, and you're dragged through this hallway immediately down to the left. The hallway seems to go on forever as another flash of green, another flash of blue. You're coming in and out as you're being manhandled by these giants, dragged through what sounds like bestial sounds as another door pushes open to this smell of, you can't quite put your finger on it, but it smells familiar. It smells bestial. You hear loud squawkings, and then again, darkness, flash, another beam of yellow. You're pulled through another door and roughly thrown into a cage. Warrendale, nothing but blackness then comes upon you for several minutes. But then the sound of a door pushing open, loud, pounding footsteps, the rattling of chains, something snarling loudly, and the harsh whip and whacking against flesh as something yells out in pain. You hear a feminine voice. Get back in your corner. There'll be time to speak to you soon, copper-headed fool. But first, I want to speak to my new guest. You hear the sound of flame, and a bright light kind of momentarily makes you cover your eyes, for you've been in darkness for so long. You now see that blocking you between a shadowy figure are these large iron bars. You're in some kind of cell. You instinctively kind of snap to and kind of go to your fight or flight instincts, but you realize you're chained, your hands behind your back to a wall. You look around and you see this absolutely towering figure that steps forth into the light, and you see it as none other than Countess Sansari. She says to you, Warrendale, I hope my gods weren't too rough on you, were they? It is Warrendale after all, isn't it? What? You have nothing to say? You were so cocky before when you thought I was Hekaton. Surely, you must not be afraid of a cloud giant, are you?
Probably would help if I unmute myself. I'll just stare back at her. Not saying a word.
You see, as you look at this giant, that she's dressed, she stands about 30 feet tall, and she's dressed in these very ornate kind of light teal blues and whites robes that are kind of see-through at parts. And it almost kind of looks like a beautiful cloudy blue day. Her outfit just kind of somehow embodies that. And as you look around, there's like what looks like a fur kind of lining around the collar of her robes, but instead of fur, it's wisps of clouds. And you look and you see her kind of feminine but pale gray face, the same color as the other cloud giants that you were dragged through the hallways in. And she currently has this masquerade ball face that she's covering her face with, and it's a big gleaming smile. And she says, too bad. I was really looking forward to having a moment to speak with you. You had so much to talk about when you thought you had the upper hand. Funny how things can be flipped upside down when you mess with the wrong people. And she takes the mask that she's wearing and flips over to another one, and this one has a very cruel looking smile, someone that's taking pleasure in your current situation. It seems to be glowering at you and demeaning you, the mask that she currently holds over her face.
Wait, what is the mask for? Is stories I've heard of your ugliness true? Gotta keep it covered.
They don't call me the Lady in Masks for nothing. Just like the mask I wore of King Hekaton and fooled you and your foolish friends.
Fooled? Ha. You didn't have anybody fooled.
Funny. You're the one behind chains in a cage right now. You have a weird way of making these plans work out for you, Warrendale. Is this all part of your master plan? Or can you dare face the fact that you've been outthought by me, a mastermind, Countess Sansari?
Face the facts. You can't even face yourself in the mirror. Besides, you'll have your time and come due. You think I would have went down really that easily?
It's funny you say that, my time and come due, because I believe it is my time more than ever. It is the time of the cloud giants. You and your friends spoke of this oracle you spoke to, and that you were looking for the pitiful Hecaton. But where is the giants' god now? Where is their kings? He's in hiding, he's missing. Yet here I am, picking what I need from you foolish, puny folk, and rising above to my rightful place. I will rule all of giant kind, and I will rule all beneath.
That's not what I hear, but you can have your fantasies. It's okay.
It's okay. You smile for now. We'll have more time to talk. But
Can't wait.
I'm expecting more visitors soon. Friends of yours. If they don't get crushed into a million pieces and smushed beneath my soldiers' feet.
Nah, that's part of the master plan we have coming. It's okay.
Good luck with your plan, Warrendale. I'll speak to you soon. Hopefully you're not afraid of the dark. And then she sconches out the flame and leaves you in the dark cellar. You hear the door slam shut after her footfalls kind of fall through the hallway, or this massive, you can tell it's big. You can necessarily can't see. I don't know if you have dark vision or not, but even if you did, you wouldn't be able to see the entirety of this room. And you hear her foot's echo in the darkness and then slam. Silence for a moment, and then the loud sound of what sounds like an enormous chain being dragged, and then the whimpering of some large creature. The rest of the party, the last you remember, fighting for your lives against cloud giants and your friends. It's all a daze, a blur, but you know that you were felled. I'll need everyone to make, besides Warrendale, a Constitution saving throw.
You don't need my last death save then?
This may or may not count as it.
All right.
Welcome, Mary. Nice of you to join us. All right.
I can't save.
Con save, yes.
Something I'm really good at.
There you go. So, Octavio's darkness overcomes you. A pain that you were trying to endure is actually far too much for you to take on, as the pain overcomes and darkness surrounds you. The other two, though, you feel your bones cracked and crushed. You feel pain. You hear ringing. But you realize that the blows that the giants did upon you weren't lethal. They knocked you out, and you too are fading in and out of consciousness. You're brought before this massive castle in the sky being dragged up by the cloud giants, and you come to this kind of circular battery-like defensive position where you see these large crossbow-like what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of it. But just these massive like anti-air kind of crossbows. The word is escaping. Yeah, ballistas. That's what it is. I was thinking basilisks, and I'm like, that's not right. Ballistas. Mounted on this kind of circular defensive tower, and you're brought to the center of it and then pushed through a door. Livy and Liviant, you're trying to bring yourself to fight, but you can't. You just feel too many broken bones or no energy left on you. You're stripped of your gear and your weapons. You hear murmuring of giants talking. Those of you who speak giant would kind of hear jarbled bits of why are they here. Something about Sansari's not done with them yet. Take what's dangerous and take what looks good and store it in her workshop. You're dragged through a hallway where you feel your gear being relieved of you and pushed into a door. You momentarily see, as you're laying on the floor, feeling this cold white cobblestone on your face, a massive giant table. And it kind of is, it's almost like dreamlike for you and Livy, because the table is like larger than life. And you just feel like it's almost dreamlike as you see your gear being placed on the table. And it just looks like these tiny little instruments or little weapons, almost child's toys. As you look at this massive table, it's all kind of piled on there, and you're dragged down this long hallway. Mary, as the door, or Livy, as the door is pushed open to, after walking down a hallway that feels like it takes forever, you see these circular cages and you hear the flapping of feathers, and you look and you're momentarily met with a beak of a feathered like beast creature that squawks at you and tries to chomp on you as you're pushed down close to the cage. You recognize it as a griffin, for you've seen griffins before. Not any griffin that you recognize, though. This one has red in its eyes in a fury as it tries to bite at you. You're not sure if you're stuck in a nightmare or if you're dead, but you're pushed through this kind of animal pen into another set of double doors. The three of you are thrown in cages in dark rooms, chained up. Before long, darkness again as you pass out into consciousness, and then a door opens as you hear voices murmur. Sansari wishes to speak to two of them. Warrendell, actually, sorry, not Warrendell. Octavius and Mary, you're picked up and again dragged through a hallway. You're all at 1 HP now, for the record, as an hour has went by, and you're now sitting on the brink of consciousness. You're brought into this large hall, Octavius and Livy. The features have these lapis blue tiles and a myriad of castles sitting in the suns on top of clouds, while storm giants ride over top on these massive birds, whipping down dragons and basically taming dragons on their golden chariots, kind of flying over a dawn of a sun on the back of these massive bird-like creatures. You see these kind of audience chamber-like circular rafters that would normally hold some kind of council in the back of the room as you're dragged through. And then before you is this absolutely massive throne. It's completely blue and glimmers, but as your focus kind of turns in, as you're dragged into the center of this room where there's this circular blue and gold sun embedded, this tile work in the center of the floor, this massive blue throne before you where the Sansari sits, and you realize that the throne that she sits on is made of these beautiful sapphire blue gems. You have these Aarakocra warriors that you fought before dragging you, both kind of kick you down to your knees, and you see that Sansari has what looks like two infant giants, a boy and a girl, sitting next to her. One's playing with a stuffed yeti. But the peculiar thing is that these giants, although they look like no older than like maybe 6 or 7, they stand the height of like a fully grown man, at least 300 pounds, almost 7 feet tall, yet still childlike features. The birds kick you down to your knees. And then Sansari just kind of sits there and waits, and she is holding this mask above her face, and it's kind of curious looking, cockeyed face with a smirk on it. And she switches the mask over with a flick of her hand, and the mask kind of rotates, showing another side to it. And this side is a pleasant smile. And she says, "Welcome, my friends, to my audience chamber. So nice of you to join me here. I have so many questions for the two of you. Your friend Warrendell doesn't feel much like talking, and when he does, foolishness comes out of his mouth. Hopefully, one of you two can give me the answers that I need. How are you feeling? Hopefully not too beat up." As she says this, you just ache in every inch of your body.
Livy, who usually has a very pleasant countenance, just like, especially when Warrendell's name was mentioned, just has this, probably the angriest that Octavius would have ever seen her looking. Just
Oh, my dear, are you sad that your friend turned on you? Funny how friends can be when things aren't looking on their side, right?
Octavius will look around. Are there any windows in the room?
In this room, behind her, high above, for you, it would be about almost 15 feet above is what looks like two, yes, windows carved of stone, glass stained windows on them that both depict a sun and a moon. Keeping in mind that this room itself is absolutely enormous. It measures over 120 feet long by 100 feet wide. And on each of your flank, on your west and east, are two golden statues of cloud giants that stand 30 feet tall each. There's 4 Aarakocras surrounding the two of you, 2 on each of you. And you look down and you do see that you're sitting on this kind of mirror of a sun.
How close are the Aarakocra?
Within, like, on top of you, 5 feet.
Just slightly under his breath, Octavius is going to start muttering the somatic components to Death Ward. He's going to hopefully be able to mutter it long enough to be able to cast it on himself.
And you're going to cast it on yourself?
Yep.
Absolutely. She says, my friends, there's no reason to worry. Although a wise and powerful leader, if you only give me what I seek to know, then I'm sure we can come up with some agreement where terms will be amicable for you. Now, you did get me something that I wanted very badly. So, even though you fought against us, the rightful rulers of this world, me as their queen, I am benevolent, and I will forgive you. I only seek a few questions. You said you spoke to the Oracle, the Eye of the Allfather, the whisperer between the god and the giants. You, puny, insolent, tiny insects, apparently spoke to the translator to our god, a god that has not spoken to any giant in many, many years. You can see that the face, smiling face, begins to switch as she rotates it to an agitated face. The eyes now have this kind of like glowing red to them.
Fuck you, bitch! And then I'll slowly cast Death Ward on Livy, somatically under my breath as well.
Okay. Are you actually yelling out, fuck you, bitch?
Yep.
All right. Then you will be struck by 2 Aarakocras instantly.
Cool.
Both, what's your AC?
About to get knocked out.
Your AC is 18. So yeah, I rolled a natural 18 plus mod and then a 16 plus mod. So both hit you and would knock you back to 1 HP.
Cool.
So Death Ward off you. How many spell slots do you have left anyways? Because you didn't get any back. So make sure you're tracking that. You still got a few anyways, but I'll let you track that. Her angry face changes back to a pleasant one. A shame. A shame that you can't be more civilized. I knew that you puny folks had tiny brains, but I expected that you would at least have a need to live, basic survival instincts. What about you, my dear? A fellow female. Hopefully, even though of a lesser race, a lesser kind, you are the brains of your friends. I would hate to have to, well, deal with yous in a less than kind manner.
Evie's, again, her face continues to kind of have that hurt look, but as she's starting to talk to them, like wanting to know about the Oracle, and especially like you guys have talked to them and whatnot, she would have like just kind of started massaging her temple, and her look will go into like she's trying to recall a memory, and she'll just start kind of shaking her head and like, if that's so, I have no recollection.
Hmm.
I remember everything. Fuck you, bitch.
All right. The Aarakocra would again probably hit you, Dan, and since there's really not much you can do, you'd be knocked unconscious again for real this time. Now actually unconscious. One of the children, the boy, says, "These two insects are idiots. Mother, we should make them fly." The girl, small girl, says, "No, we shouldn't make them fly. Not both of them. Maybe that loudmouth one, but that one right there, the girl, she looks like she'd be a great play friend for me. Mother, I really do want a play friend. I'm so tired of dealing with Calistar." And then the boy says, "Shut your mouth, Alistar. I don't want to be your friend anyway. I want to see them both fly." To which she shushes her children and says, "Perhaps, Livy, I can help jog your memory." She taps her scepter to the ground, and you begin to hear stone grinding on stone, and the Muriel that you're kind of sitting between, you hear kind of fold, and the Aarakocra drag you up a bit, and you look behind you now, and you see that the circular sun that you're standing on begins to open up, and you hear the sucking wind basically start to pull into this room. And as you look, you see in the center of this room, just a few inches behind you, it opens up into thin air. Now, Livy, I can call you Livy, right?
Please do.
I'm in a bit of a predicament here, for I do plan to be the new queen of all giants. And in order to do so, I need to be in contact with my god, you see. We haven't had from the All-Father in quite some time.
That's great and all. I hurt. I've been battered, and you expect me to remember everything crystal clear when the very breath I take is pain, and you're harming my friend, and I need more time.
She switches her mask to a sad face and says, "Livy, I'm so sorry for your pains. But imagine the pain one would feel knowing that their own god betrayed their people, smashed an ordning, smashed their very caste system, for they were doing something wrong. The leaders of their giant kind, their king was steering the entire race wrong, and now the god has punished all of them. Imagine that, being punished for nothing that you did because you simply abided by an apparent ruler that did not know how to communicate with a god. I feel your pain. I suffer too. But I need you. I need you to think really hard for me, for it's going to hurt so much worse for you if you can't think. You're not going to feel it right away. You'll feel the loss first, as I send your loudmouth friend sitting next to you plummeting to his death. I will give you time, but you need to give me something, my dear. Something now, or I'm afraid I'll have to appease my son."
And she's really now like keeping up the facade with just like as though she's really trying to recall a memory. But would it be insight as to whether she felt like this would be the best option, because right now I'm of the opinion that she would be believing that she should not, like, if she has to take this to the grave, she will. Although if it's Octavius going to the grave, she's a little less, and so she's really trying to. I'm wondering if there's a way to find out if.
Go ahead and roll an insight.
Because if she does feel like this was the best course of action, then she'll break the facade. But 16, what does that give? Should she still stick up with grave?
So 16 on the insight to her, you know for a fact that this woman definitely means business. And when she says that you're going to hurt, you know for a fact that she doesn't mean physically, not right away. She's going to make you suffer, and she's going to hurt whoever she can before she wants you guys for something. If she didn't, she would have killed you. These questions that she has for you, this questioning, this wonder about the oracle, the conversation you had, is very important to her. And
look to Octavius then, and like kind of beseeching his, hoping that he kind of has picked up on what she's trying to do.
Super unconscious.
Oh, damn. That's right. Dang it.
I know you're going through a lot, Livy. So, anything. Tell me anything from the Oracle, and I will give you time to rest and think more.
She's like, tears are coming now, and like, hoping that it's passing off as like she's trying really hard, but she's really concerned for Octavius, and trying to think of a point.
If you're actually forgetting out of character,
a little bit of that.
Yeah, I figured it's been.
King Hecaton, we were told where to find him.
So the 6 questions you asked is how to stop hold on, wait, I gotta go back here and look at my notes. How to fix the ordning, where are the conches, who killed Zephyros, where is Hecaton, how do we find Maelstrom, and where is the skull throne, are the 6 questions you asked.
Okay, remind me what the answer for Zephyros was.
Who killed Zephyros was Imarith, Doom of the Desert.
Imarith. Oh, right. Okay.
Where is Hecaton? Unknown powerful magic blocks this.
Right. Actually, that might be. So she'll just like conflicting will begin to stammer out like, there's we had a friend, Zeph. He was one of the giants. We saw that he was dead and wanted to know who had killed him. The lightning. I believe it was a dragon. And we wanted to.
You poor thing. It must hurt so much to know that you've been defeated. Probably something you're not really used to feeling, right? I imagine things were probably going so merry for you and your group.
King Hecaton, that was another one.
Yes, the king of the storm giants, the ruler of apparent giant kin, the one who caused this very ordering to be shattered. You spoke of, you asked of him. Tell me more of this Hecaton. Where is he?
They didn't know. They couldn't tell us, or I can't remember, but we have no more. We know less of where his whereabouts is, even before.
She begins to like firmly grip onto the throne that she sits on, and you see her hands kind of tense on it, and you see a couple of the gemstones that are embedded in the the armrest actually begin to crack and fall out as she tries to keep composure. And she motions to the Aarakocra. They quickly grab onto Octavius's shoulders, fling him around, and dangle his body over the gap. Now you see that his limp body is kind of flailing in the air as he's just holding above it. Surely.
Now, kind of like abandoning her facade, but still like just going into like almost hysterics now, just like, I don't know. I don't. The Oracle didn't have anything. It didn't know there was magic or something that was preventing them from knowing where King Hekaton is. I don't know where he is. No one knows where he is.
The birds
a breath and just
look with like the Aarakocra have no emotion in their face as they hold Octavius. You see Sansari's mask of anger flip to one of just frustration. The boy, whose name is Keltar, is anxiously like a child looking at his favorite show, is just anxiously watching as the girl child says, "Mother, you're making her upset. Don't make my new friend upset, please." She looks to her daughter. "So sweet, my Alstra. So sweet, a kind, caring heart, just like your mother. Yes, it seems our guests are a bit disturbed right now. We will give them more time to think." She waves her one finger, and the birds throw Octavius over onto the stone. The circular dome begins to close again, and she pulls Octavius away, and then the steps off of her throne and comes up to you. You hear the pounding of her foot as she just walks. You feel it shaking beneath you, and she bends down to your level. Her single finger picks up your chin, and her finger alone is like the size of your head, and she makes you look her deep in the eyes as she pulls back her mask, and you look into her blue face, and she says, "Livy, my friend, we can be friends, but I like my friends to be useful. And if you have no use for me, well then, I don't see this friendship working or lasting a very long time. And you see the things that I do to my enemies. I don't think you'll appreciate. I won't make it end quickly for you. I will make your friends suffer first. I will take my floating castle, and I will find others you care about. I will make them suffer. I will find those you don't care about, and I will make them suffer. I will do everything that I need to do to get the answers that I want. Because that's what I do. I am a queen, and I will get the answers that I want. And then, when you finally serve me, then I will make it end for you. So think long and hard in your cell. Hopefully friendship is the path that you choose." And then she walks away.
Livy had a stupid grin coming up across her face as she's just kind of like crying through this, just like, this reminds me of the story. And so, yeah. If Davios is safe, she will go kind of like grab him, make sure he's away from that.
He's already dragged away, and then as you're like trying to pick yourself up, you just clock in the back of the head and knocked out again. Like Liviant, actually, who do I want to jump to? Yeah, let's jump to Rick Liviant. You haven't got to do anything yet. The last thing you remember is the look in your wife's eyes as you faced against her in mortal combat to the death. The look of betrayal in her eyes as you stabbed through her and she disintegrated to a million pieces of ice. The last thing she kind of calls out is "my husband." That echoes in your head as you open up. And do you have dark vision?
I think so.
I think you do too.
I do.
Yeah, you have dark vision. So you find yourself in a room with completely no light, but your dark vision kind of clicks in and you start to see in that kind of dark grays and blacks. As you look around the room, you see that there is basically, you're in a cage, first of all, a large one. Your feet are shackled. Your gear your Stormness's fighting chance, your prized weapon, removed from you. You look around to your left, and there's another big cage. You look to your right, another cage. And then strewn all through the room are what looks like broken collars and muzzles and torture equipment, large, big pieces of metal that are rusted with blood. You see a large heap of a figure in the corner of this room at the very edge of your dark vision, kind of the full, what is it, like 30 feet that you see in dark vision, I think, or 60 feet?
Yeah, 60 feet from me, bud.
Right on the cusp, some large figure that's breathing with trouble. You hear it whinging its breath, very like short and troubled as it comes out. But it fills the room. Whatever's in that corner is large. You're conscious again. Your body hurts. What are you doing?
Well, Rick will kind of back himself up into the corner of the cage. And he has nothing on him.
Just you're like, you're not naked essentially, but no gear.
Yeah. Is there any sticks or anything in the
there's probably like some, yeah, there's probably like hay, like large giant hay, I guess.
Yeah. Or even bones.
I'll say you find a bone.
Okay. I'm gonna turn that into a torch with a light cantrip.
Okay. You illuminate the room now, and you more clearly see out the two cages. One cage has this hump of a figure with its hands drawn behind its back, kind of shadowy. The way the torch light flickers the room, you can't really make out his face. His head's kind of like hung on, and he's either sleeping or dead. You don't know. And then on the right side cage, you do see a figure that seems to have like a cloak wrapped around it like this, kind of almost like a Dracula or a vampire or something. That's just kind of sitting in the corner of darkness. It's standing and it's looking at you, although it too has shackles around its feet. And then the large beast, you make out glimmering, kind of brownish copper scales. Can't see what this creature is, but it's big.
Right. Yeah, he would definitely look about the room, and then he's attached to something. Is that correct?
Yes. So your feet are attached to some chains. Your hands are actually free.
Can he move around or can he not?
Yeah, you can move around the cage. The cage itself, so it's large. It is about 15 feet by 15 feet. The cage that you're in.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big box. He feels awful and is going to wait. There's no way to get out of this at this point, and he's downtrodden and beaten. He had to kill his own wife, and he's going to wait. I'm going to use the once per long rest healing hands that he has to make himself feel a little better.
Okay.
But not much.
An hour has went by to Reich Liviant and Warrendell, at least, getting the benefits of a short rest. If you guys wish to spend your hit dice, go ahead and do so behind the scenes. Just roll in Fantasy Ground so I can see it going down. Actually, everyone can do that because inevitably you guys are going to have like at least an hour of like recovery time, although you are imprisoned. As you're sitting there and you don't really know what to do, you have those flashbacks of you and Lorwyn, the final moments You don't understand why she would betray you. She was always a strong headed woman, stubborn, but she was always loyal to you, and you can't figure out for the life of you why she would have turned on you. You begin to hear sobbing. Something's crying. Seems to be coming from the corner where that big heap of glimmering scales is coming from.
Yeah, I've moved a little closer.
If you wanted, you could throw your bone across the room, because the creature is like a full 60 feet away, and that's not even the end of the room. So your torches or your light bone is kind of like at its limit as you stick your arm out to try to see what it is. It just shows the glimmering scales. But if you were to chuck it, you could probably see whatever the hell is in that corner if you wanted to. If you want to hold on to your bone, though, that's fine.
Well, is there any other bones in the?
Yeah, I'll say for the sake of things, you could find another stone or a bone if you wanted to.
Okay. Yeah, so I chuck this one as far as I can. He's a strong man.
Yep.
And I did take a little bit of. I don't have any hit dice left. I used those last time.
Okay.
And yeah, so I took the 9 hit points I get back, so I feel slightly better. And I chuck that thing as far as you'll let me.
Yeah, you chuck it, and as you do, you hear just a creature whoop out in absolute fear. As it does, you see these massive chains that are holding the beast. Each chain link itself, almost like the size of you, just whip up, and the creature yells out, "Oh, please, no more! I can't take it anymore, please!" And he begins to cry. As the bone boof, 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 comes across the rim, you see the wingspan of this massive copper dragon. Its wings, though, have scars all raked across it. As it looks to you, its face is bloodied, with just a mess, several wounds bashed to the head. The entire side of its body, parts of its scale been peeled off. This dragon looks like it's in absolute terrible shape.
Oof.
Can I recognize his voice? Well,
you aren't quite there yet. But Warrendell, you hear this going on too, as you are actually in a cage. You're that heap of a figure to the left of Reich Liviant. The voice does sound rather familiar to you. I don't know how well you remember, but you have this flashback to where this adventure actually began. It seems so long ago, so many months ago, in the city of Nightstone, where you were having this bump in with some Zentrum spies, the 7-headed snakes, I believe they were called, and a dragon by the name of Phagolus that Octavios was apparently friends with, Soul. That same voice sounds familiar, and as you look across, you do see the dragon, although it looks absolutely beat and completely disheveled. The voice does sound so familiar.
Do I remember his name?
You would remember that Octavius calls him Soul.
Sorry, okay. And I'm in the same.
Right.
I would have seen him hurl the torch then, right?
You are in the cage next to him, yes. So you were kind of just like you're in and out of it, but waiting, because you've been locked in darkness for a while now, just waiting for something to happen. And then you're just kind of watching this commotion unfold. And then when the dragon actually has the bone thrown at it, it pulls the cage or the chains that it has on it so hard that it actually like momentarily shakes the room. But as you look, there's a big shackle around its neck, 4 shackles around each of its legs, and a chain around its chest that kind of just bolts it to the ground. This thing is locked down, and the shackles are massive.
Go ahead with what you're going to say, Corey. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, that's fine. If he shows that it's him, Rick Liviant will be very, very aggressive against Warrendell. Last thing he remembers is that he's one of the people that he
That's true.
We're fighting against it.
I don't know if you actually reveal yourself or not. Warrendale, up to you.
As soon as I would hear the dragon, I mean, I don't know if I'd pay Rick Livian much attention, but I'd certainly look over. You're looking well, son.
Who is that? Is this another trick? I told you everything that I already knew. I told you where the Noonstone was. Tell Sansari that I've given her answers.
No. Just an old friend. Quite a long time ago.
There's no friends here anymore. Only pain.
And traitors.
That's now, Bird Boy. We have important things to task at hand.
If I get out of this cage, you're going to have nothing left of you.
I've heard that before. So how do you presume we get out of here, huh?
You hear a third voice now. The figure Reclivian that was kind of standing there all cowled and ominous say, "There is no getting out of here. Trust me, I have been here for a long time. Sansari will use you and use you until she has no more use for you, and then she'll forget about you."
Yeah, it seems like everybody else in my life. So, I don't know if you've seen my thing there, Chris. I have no idea what my hit points or spells or anything is since we used my sheet for the fake.
Yeah, it's incidentally enough, I'm pretty sure like you didn't get hit at all, really. You spent some spells, so whatever your sheet says you have for spells spent is accurate. So you only have the 3 slots left,
Okay.
but your HP is good because you got hypnotic patterns. You didn't get assaulted at all.
Okay.
You are shackled though. You actually have your hands completely tied behind your back. And so yeah, you're basically hands behind your back. You feel metal chains, and the shackles are chained up to the wall so that you're kind of like forced to sit and have your hands behind your back, almost like you're arrested.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right.
Oh, where's the chains attached to in his cage?
Against the wall. So you're in a 15-foot cage, and then there's about 10 feet in between your cage and his, and he's also in a 15-foot cage.
All right, yeah.
Are they
I wasn't sure if it was just wall next to wall.
So over it, Rick Leviant, he's chained as well, I assume. Are they normal
I'm not as chained as heavily as you are.
with like keys?
With keys, you can
like a magical.
give me an do you want to do a magical? Do you want to do an arcana or investigation check?
Investigation.
Do an investigation check for me.
Let's see. Probably should have went with arcana, but oh well.
As you feel around, you just kind of like use your fingers to just feel what you can and spin the shackles around on your wrist. You feel no keyhole.
Well, I could probably get myself out of here, but I might have to leave you behind. What's your name again? Mick? I believe it is, something like that. But unless you have a way to break yourself free, can't you, like, bulge your muscles and break free or something like that?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
I don't talk to traitors.
Well,
And he turns from you, and walks to the other side of the cage.
very well. I don't really care either way.
You hear Soul kind of Warndale?
Aye, that'd be me.
You? Oh no, they've brought you here as well. I'm so sorry. These people are so terrible, Warndale.
It's quite all right. We're going to take care of it. Or at least I am. The pansy ass over there doesn't really want anything to do with it.
Oh, and now they've done so many terrible things. They tricked me. They told me that they would have me for wine, and I sat down and I spoke with Sansari, and she was asking all these questions, but when I wasn't giving the answers that she wanted, she promised me so many things, but she got frustrated, and then the wine, oh, the wine tasted so good at the time, but then I started to feel so very strange, and it forced me out of my form back into my natural form. Oh, I swear this has happened to me before. I can't quite put my finger on it, but anyways, I was forced back into my dragon form, and before long, they descended upon me. They tricked me. They shackled me down, put this around my neck. My powers, I can't do anything here. I can't even breathe my attack. And he tries to suck in and coughs out instead of actually breathing a fire attack. She's been torturing me for so very long.
And what of this other fellow? You look over at this cowled one. How are you?
He steps forth a bit into the light, and as you realize the cowl actually peels back from him, and it's actually not any kind of leather or anything that he's wearing. It's wings. Only the wings are, the feathers on the wings are plucked, and it's bare, scarred skin. And you see
have a new friend.
An Aarakocra step forth, and as he steps into the light, this Aarakocra looks very familiar to you, Warrendell. It looks like the same Aarakocras that have been fighting you, exact replicas, only their wings aren't as disgusting and mutilated as his. And he says to you, "My name is Jaka."
Do I know that she made a simulacre or whatever that thing is of me? Or like, was that more of like a magical effect that happened for the dancing lights?
No, you what you remember is her grabbing you, striking you with lightning, actually, which I guess probably would have knocked you. Yeah, so you were knocked. You don't have full HP, sorry. I just reminded myself. You would have been at 1 HP also when you were starting, so you can spend your hit dice accordingly.
Okay.
And when you were flashing in and out of consciousness, it's kind of a wavy, dreamlike thing, but you remember her performing some kind of magical spell, saying some somatic words. You're obviously a sorcerer, you know somatic words when you hear them. And then the last thing you remember is staring into what you think was a reflection, a mirror of yourself, only there was no mirror. You were just looking at yourself standing. And she said that this version will be so much more obedient.
I could probably at least connect 2 and 2. Sol, did they make copies of you like they did this bird man and perhaps myself? I think maybe.
No, she's just been torturing me day in and day out, asking about the lore on the Noonstone. I feel so bad. I hope no one got hurt, but I couldn't take it anymore. I lasted weeks, months even. But just so many scales peeled off, my wings cut so many times. I needed to say something. She wasn't going to let me die. She wasn't going to let me free. At this point, the door opens. He falls silent, backs into the corner. You see some Aarakocra soldiers kind of marching through, both dragging 2 forms. The cage with Warrendell is opened, and Octavios's heap is chucked into the room. Livy, you're thrown into the cage with Reich Liviant. The Aarakocras close the cells, and then walk away. I will say for the brevity of things that you two both pop into consciousness now, as Fagolis or Soul lets out a deep breath of fear, and he says that she was asking where to find the Noonstone. I remember, being an old dragon that I am, and hearing the different lords, I remember hearing the story of the Night and the Noonstone, and how the one side was forgotten in the city of Nightstone. Most of the people living nowadays don't even remember the old tales. I also remember that the Noonstone, though, was set to the Children of the Storms, a barbarian tribe in the spine of the world that was set to protect it. I feel so very bad, but unfortunately, I told Sansari this. I'm a coward.
Nah, don't worry about it. The fool over there gave her the stone anyway.
Octavius, you hear your bro. You think you're dreaming probably as you've been punched in the face. You you pick your head up, spitting out some blood and a tooth actually, as you look like maybe swing at an Aarakocra, but you realize that instead of an Aarakocra, it's actually Warrendel's face. Up to you if you want to keep swinging.
Yeah, I would survey the room or where I am a little bit more, and I would turn away from Warrendel, putting my back to him, and kind of try to gain my consciousness and my wits a little bit more about me as Saul's voice comes into my head. Since they just tossed me into the cell and they didn't shackle me in, I would imagine I have free movement.
Yeah, actually, you do.
How close is Saul to the outside of my cage?
60 feet.
Yeah, 60 feet away. Although, yeah, he's 60 feet right now. Although he is walking a bit closer after hearing Warrendel's face. 60 feet turns into maybe 50. He's now fully illuminated in the bone light. You see for sure the copper adult dragon that you met so long ago in Yartar, your home city.
Before I say anything, can I study his restraints?
Yeah. What do you want to do? For now, it'd kind of be a perception check. You're not close enough really to investigate, so go ahead and give me a perception check.
Sure.
And tell me what you're trying to discern, actually, I guess.
I'm trying to discern if they're magical restraints or non-magical restraints.
It's pretty far away, and with the darkness and the lighting, it's hard to tell from that far with an 8.
Okay, you know what? Fuck it anyway. I'm gonna. Saul, is that you? Is that really you?
Octavius? My old friend. Oh, I'm so glad to see. Oh, no. You're here too. I'm so very sad to see you.
How close can you get to me, my friend? How close can you get to this cage?
And he kind of starts to walk 30 feet. Is when the chains start to draw. Oh, Octavius, my friend, you should not have come here. These people are so very mean. They give you wine, and then the wine makes you very sick. And before you know it, you're strapped in chains, having your skin peeled off.
These bars are obviously made for smaller people. They're not giant size.
Yeah, they at least thought that through.
I want to study the lock of my cage.
You want to study the lock?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and you can give an investigation on this. As far as you can tell, there is a keyhole, pretty large in size. It's the cage itself I guess it's human size, so it wouldn't be actually jumbo. So yeah, it's just a keyhole, but a little bit larger than a normal key, you would presume.
Do I feel as if I take off my armor, I can fit through the bars at all?
You actually don't have your armor on.
Okay.
You're completely gearless.
There's no way to get through the bars?
Not that you immediately see in front of you.
Let's scan the room and see if Livy's okay.
Livy, you're coming to consciousness also now.
Yeah.
Livy, are you alright?
My head hurts.
You didn't answer any of their questions, did you?
Burst into tears. Sorta. I mean, I just wanted to buy us more time, and I made mention of knowing how Zephyros died, and that no one knows where Hecaton is. But that's it. That's all I said, because you were about to get sucked out, and I don't know. That's all I said. I just hope that
the Aarakocra in the other cell by itself, off to the right of you guys, speaks up and says, "Do not be ashamed of telling them what they want to know. Sansari will get her information. The more that you put off and fight her, the more painful it will be. She has so many ways of making you speak, but she enjoys the cruelest forms the most."
I think with this, she maybe would carefully get up and assess the area. When can she see? Like, is it dark in there? Because if it is, she won't be able to see anything unless she casts dancing lights.
Right now, the only thing that's lighting the room is about 40 feet away-ish, a bone of glowing light that is illuminating the giant adult copper dragon or soul.
I think
just then,
just down, start thinking. Still back to Warren.
If she notes Wanda, she's gonna be like, "What the hell, man? You have so much explaining to do."
I'm going to kill him.
Oh, please. You'll all have to update me on the happenings here and why the hell you're here, and not just me. I sacrificed myself for the lot of you, and yet you fools are here.
Sacrificed? Let me just interrupts, and like, she is mad. She is so pissed right now.
Do I look like I've been playing paper, rock, scissors with the bitch?
You attacked us. You are why we are here.
Do you truly believe that?
She's just like, yeah, I just only fought against you.
I may be a bit of an asshole, but I don't turn on my friends. Except for he's not a friend yet.
Don't turn your friends. Then what was that back there in the ice? We come out of the building that you're after helping Rick, and you and the giants just all start attacking us.
Eric Croker speaks up and says, "That is called the simulacrum."
And I probably blew apart into bits of ice like the rest of them did.
Yes.
I just put myself
Exactly what happened here.
Well, yes, exactly. I just put myself back together here. I got a little bit of frostbite on my ass, but otherwise I seem fine.
I can't remember if Livy got knocked out before she saw that happen or not. So
It's a high level of spell that Sansari has mastered and manipulated to use in a way that most casters cannot use themselves. She not only can conjure up one of these identical clones that not only know all of the information but act and remember as the other person, only completely obedient, but she can conjure multiple of them. The birded men that you faced off against, I'm presuming, the ones that carried you in here, that was me in my glory days before she got bored of me and mutilated me and did this to my wings. And he shows you his what should be majestic Aarakocra birdie wings, but instead it's just scarred flesh and plucked feathers.
Yeah, Reich takes a stone and puts a light spell into it, and walks over to Olivia and puts it in her hands.
thank you.
All right.
So it's one of you knows how to pick a lock.
I've read about it, but I have no lockpicks.
I'm gonna say, I think this would work, but Olivia kind of think about it. It's like, what? I could try prestidigitation. Make something to fiddle.
Let me look up prestidigitation. I definitely think that's
I
probably.
know it can make 3 small trinket things, so I don't know how big the key needs to be, but the idea in my head is because they can make something physical, that she can channel it into the lock in the hopes that maybe it'll do the grooves or whatever and twist, but I'll let you make the call.
Just reading up on the spell. You create a non-magical trinket or an illusionary image that can fit into your hands. Trinket or illusionary image that can stick in your hands and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I have let's let you roll an Arcana check.
Nothing. Come on, that 20. Come on, that 20. Arcana. Oh, wait, whoops. Let's click on the dice. Hey, that's not too bad.
definitely going to be a rather high DC, and unfortunately 21 is a little bit shy. As I was just going to say before, you rolled 25 is what you need. Sorry.
Okay. So, pretty good. I think.
Yeah, it starts to
with it, and like the idea is there, but it's just not enough magic or to like enough solidness to the object she makes to really work as a key.
Exactly.
Well, I feel it in there, but it's like a what is it called when you're screwing in a screw, but you all the metal bits just doesn't stick, and so anyways.
Fagolis, our soul, looks to you, Octavius, and says, "Oh, my friend, I'm so sorry that you're here. This is all my fault, isn't it? I don't even know how I wrapped you up in this, but I'm so sorry." And as he turns to you, he kind of goes to lay down, and you see his long copper tail kind of whip out. And as it gets down to like the bare end of its tail, you see that the flesh on this poor creature, your friend, has been teared off, and the end of his tail is now just exposed bone, and he whimpers out in pain.
I got a really fucked up idea, and I think it'll work, but I'm not completely positive. So I'm gonna try it, and we're just gonna see what happens.
Hang on, Tavios. What's the idea?
Octavius looks up at Livy with stoic eyes.
Oh God!
And starts repeatedly smashing his hand and wrist on the floor of the cell that he's in. Hopefully, the first few times breaking the bone of his wrist, and then continually smashing his hand down and down upon the rock. Blood probably starting to ooze out from the bruise.
Maiden garden.
Octavius starts grabbing his right hand with his left hand and ripping and trying to do his best to tear it and reef it from his body. I'm imagining after about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes of excruciating pain and blood flinging all across the cells from Octavius, wildly shaking his arm. Hopefully he's finally able to dismember his own hand from his arm.
Well, before you fully dismember your own hand from your arm, you sick bastard, you're gonna have to give me a Constitution saving throw on the account that you're at 1 HP, and I don't really see any way of you staying conscious.
I rolled a couple of fucking hit dice. I think I got some more HP to screw around with here.
I do. Nice. Go ahead.
Hey.
So
Livy wants to say something, so let's see what.
Livy is freaking summoning her sword and Maiden's Garden, being like, "Dude, stop!" Pulls out a bolt, like, let's work with this. Stop!
As Octavius starts to feel a little oozy, he's going to remember the strength and power that his god Ilmater has given him. He's going to remember all the nights of praying to Ilmater and slashing and cutting at his own body and trying to create all of this pain and suffering to be able to rise more to what he believes Ilmater would want of his followers. Octavius is going to use his inspiration to hopefully try to roll that con save again. Just knowing and drawing from all the pain that he's already submitted to himself for and through Ilmater already. Bastards. All right. Tell me what, I'm still trying to do it though. I don't care if I pass out and reawaken. I'm still trying to get this fucking head off my body.
Just determined to dismember yourself. I like it.
Livy's gonna be like.
You guys forget I have the ring. Any self-impaired damage that I do to myself is healed when I wake up in the morning. If Ilmater seems it's.
But will your hand be restored? You might be healed, but you're gonna have a stump.
I don't care. I'm telling you, this is what I'm doing.
Livy, remind me how your summoning sword thing works, because I'm pretty sure you can only have one weapon attuned at a time, right?
I'm pretty sure it's 2.
Is it 2?
Mm-hmm.
I will take your word for it.
What's correct? I have a feeling she would have bonded to Maiden's Garden because she was charged. Do
you remember what it's called? The ability? I can look it up.
Bond.
Bond.
Sorry, that's a half part. Let's see if I can go to my Google Drive. And...
Well, it is technically called a bond, Chris. I mean,
yeah, true. Weapon bond. Here we go. At third level, ritual between yourself. You can perform a ritual over the course of an hour, which can be done during a short rest. The weapon must be within your blah blah blah. Once you have bonded, you're incapacitated. You can summon it as a bonus action, causing it to tell you. You can have up to 2. Yep, you're damn right. Nice.
Yeah, so she's like, sword, man's garden, and she'll just kind of, or she will actually probably look at Levy and like pass her sword to him, just in case, like, here you go. And she is summoning a bolt. She's not sure if the bolt will work without the crossbow, but she's hoping that maybe the bolts will be able to work as a lockpick of swords. And she'll be like, I have bolts for days, okay? Here.
the sword. I mean, Jesus hurts.
So there's a lot going on here. With an 8, with double 8s, Octavius, you obviously understand you're going to be taking damage, right? When you do this?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna say with an
I'm just gonna throw this out there. While I'm smashing my hand across on the floor, my eyes are literally locked on to Saul, and seeing his carnage is inspiring me to just smash my hand roughly against the floor.
Yeah. So I'm going to say you take 10 points of damage before I guess, I don't know, an 8. That's kind of tough. The dice are against you, but you've been beating the shit out of yourself for a long time. So I don't know if you'd fall unconscious. And I don't really know how to rule a player trying to dismember his own hand. You sick bastard.
I have a plan, man. This is only the first part of it.
Yeah. I hear you, Dan, but Livy is not handling this well. I'm not handling this well. Stop it.
Handling it? That's a terrible pun, Livy. Come on.
I didn't mean to do that.
Anyways, I'm going to say that everybody at least gets a full action before Octavius gets to do anything else. So if you guys are going to pick the lock before this sick guy cuts off his arm, then now's the time to start thinking if you guys want to do something. So in turn order, right, Liviant, you get a rapier thrown to you from this woman next to you, Livy, who just summons a crossbow and a rapier out of thin air, hands you one, and begins to pull forth a magical bolt and then start to try to jimmy rig it into the lock. Anything you want to do? You hear the sick slapping thud of skin on stone as Octavius is going to work on himself over there.
So it's basically a toothpick that she hands me.
To you, yeah, you think that she handed you a toothpick, not a weapon.
Is this something he does? He kind of says to Livy.
She's not there right now, but I'm pretty sure she would say something along the lines of "yeah" all the time.
All the time. How wonderful. Yeah, he does nothing, and hasn't stopped staring at Warrendale.
All right. Warrendale, since Livy's not here, do you want to do anything as this blood is splattering up in your face as you look over Octavius's limp handing, just like slamming his wrist over and over again against the stone?
Octavius, you do you, man. I was waiting to see if she was going to get the pick unlocked or not.
I'm waiting for her to come back.
No. Okay.
I am no longer dead.
So, go ahead, Livy. Basically, I'm giving everybody a round to do something before Octavius gets to do another round at himself.
Sure. Oh, Livy will pass out as many bolts for anyone who wants to try.
The bolts only work for you, so you have one. Right, Liviant looks confused by the fact that you handed him your rapier. To him, it looks like a toothpick, and so he just kind of stands there. And for now, Warrendale is just trying to avoid blood from splattering up in his face as Octavius is limp wristing his hand against stone.
If you need to, Livy, perhaps try.
Say again?
What role? Dexterity?
Do you have any proficiency with the thieves tool? Probably not, I'm gonna assume. So it would be a dexterity check at disadvantage. And again, the save will be pretty high, although now that you have something to actually either that or you can try to straight up break out of it, right?
So if you
Oh,
can't do it, Livy, then I have a fair chance.
let's see. So there's a 22 and a 13. Bummer.
All right, so yeah, you're fumbling with it in there. You can't seem to get anywhere with it.
And then, okay. And you said that I cannot pass off a bolt to anyone.
No, because you're attuned to Maiden's Garden, so anytime you actually like try to hand off a bolt, the bolt just literally disappears as soon as you let go of it.
She'll like walk over to the edge closer to Warren, just kind of like, here, you try. Not looking at him or anything.
What you got, Warrendale?
You want to take it from her?
This is very little. Simply disappear if I take it anyway, so I'll have to find my own tool.
She drops it.
I'm going to assume that everything that I had is gone on me, so... Well, you'll see Warrendale. He's sort of been kneeling down, chained, his hands behind his back and all chained up. Do I sense that my chains are magical? Can I do an Arcana check on that?
Sure.
No, probably not then. Well, I'm going to attempt to Misty Step out of them then.
All right. Make a Constitution saving throw.
There. Constitution.
16, 22. Nice. You take half damage as you go to cast a spell, 5 points of damage onto you as your wrists sear with this burning hot pains. And as you look behind you, you see that the shackles that you are currently shackled in have runes glowing across them, and your Misty Spell step does not go off.
As I assumed.
I'll take the 5 off you.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm not going to be getting out of this anytime soon, but you'll all have to figure out your own things. Let me ponder on it for a few.
All right, Octavius, you're back up.
Okay, so I would imagine that my hand is starting to the skin around my hand is starting to slowly tear. The bones have been completely separated. The ligaments I'm working through as I'm pulling off. Right before, hopefully, I get my hand detached from my body. Since I'm not wearing my armor anymore, I would imagine I'm in my skivvies. I would imagine Octavius has loincloth skivvies just because that's a good image in my head. So I'm going to rip off my loincloth. So I'm standing there naked now as I wrap my wrist and my hand in the loincloth. And then as I finally detach my hand from my arm, I am going to cast Freedom of Movement. Imbue my hand, since it's basically pulsating with my blood still, and I'm going to throw it at Saul. Now, I have to touch him. So I figure by the hand being imbued with the magical spell, and if the hand hits Saul, Freedom of Movement will go over him, and any magical or non-magical restraints will be broken.
All right, I gotta say, that's the strangest and sickest, disgustingest way to use freedom of movement. But let me just read up the spell. Give me a moment as I'm just completely dumbfounded.
My life is for others.
Yeah, I'm a little dumbfounded. Let me read the spell. I trust you, but yeah, you touch a willing creature.
That's the smartest thing anybody's ever done in any game I've ever
been
a
leather strap to pull the spell up. Leather strap.
Escape any non-magical strains. Oh. Okay, interesting.
You are one sick fuck, Dan.
You are one sick fuck, Dan. Give me a Constitution saving throw first of all.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I had to think of something to fucking.
I give you the benefit of the doubt for constantly every session that I play with you, you're throwing me off guard.
Thank you.
All right. So that's some more damage coming your way, absolutely. And then we're going to tell you what happens. So 9 more damage off you. Can you go ahead and add that to your character sheet?
Sure.
You wrap the bloody hand and then whip the hand across the room. To everybody's horror, you see it just kind of spinning around. You cast the spell as it does, and as it leaves your body, the spell begins to fade instantly as it's no longer connected to you. But the last kind of glimmer around your hand slaps against Soul's face as he looks absolutely mortified by what you've done, and just, Octavius, what in the hell is the meaning of this? Stop, my friend, stop hurting yourself. He begins to cry. But then the sound of the chain across his body falls off. He slips underneath it.
Come to me, Saul.
He steps out of one of the shackles around his leg, another one, and then he looks absolutely confused, and he begins to walk towards you. And then lastly, before he's just in front of the cage, you hear the sound of the big chain around his neck pull as he's now face to face against the chain defense with you, just inches away now. You can reach out, and he comes against the cage, and you see tears running down his face as he says, "Please, my friend, don't hurt yourself anymore."
Okay, so I'm going to use the power of the ring. Plus, I'm also going to use my, hold on, let me just see what it's called here. I'm going to use my channel divinity to preserve life, and I am going to imbue Saul with all of my power as I reach through the cage and I grab onto his giant dragon thigh. I'm going to pulsate all of my life power into him and heal him for 70 points of fucking power. 70 points of healing. You're on mute, buddy.
All right, give me a quick second here as I look up something very important. Interesting. Damn. Okay. You see a lot of the damage done to Soul begin to basically scab over and heal. The damage done doesn't like go away, right? But like the it begins to heal itself over. He's gonna have nasty scars, tears running down his face as he says, "Please don't hurt yourself anymore, friend."
I could not see you like this. I need to get that last chain off of you.
He weeps and says, "It's no use. The bonds around my neck are magical. With this single chain around my neck, I am no more than a big, burling beef of meat." And as he flops around, poof, he falls onto the ground and begins to cry. The very cages that you guys are in shake. As he says, "What can I do as only a simple, massive, large lizard creature, capable of just crushing a building with his bare claws? Sure, I have the strength to do it, but I have none of my powers."
Maybe you could just break the chain, man.
He kind of looks.
You have the strength to do it.
He looks. I never really thought of that. Maybe I can. And he goes to claw at it. Let me pull up little Fagolus's stats. And he just looks to you. He looks to you, Octavius, and he just says, "I swear, my friend, ever since we've bumped paths, my luck has never changed. It just always seems like Baba is always just against me. Terrible luck." And he says, "But yes, I do feel strong again. I can't believe how strong I feel. Thank you for your heal." And he says, "Let me see if I can claw at this chain." And he slams his massive paw, rolling an attack, and he pulls into the chain. And as he does so, he slams on the chain and doesn't actually give himself enough tension and pulls his head down, basically yanking his own head. And then he slams the jawline of his jaw into your top cage, Octavius. Absolutely just smashing his own face into the cage. He just sits there starry-eyed for a second. You guys both fall on your asses as he almost like throws the cage across the room. As you look up, you see clearly that the chain that he just slammed into is undamaged, but then you realize that you see clearly, as in there's no bars between you. He completely smashed with his jawline 2 of the bars, giving you an opening in your cage.
Okay. You guys ready? You guys are gonna hate me. I am gonna hobble because I'm gonna imagine that Octavius is in great pain from smashing his own hand off of his body. So I'm gonna slowly hobble to over to Saul. I'm gonna reach in with my left hand into my bag, and I guess I don't have my bag, right? So
You got nothing. You're unfortunately made yourself naked now, even. Just a man exposed to the world.
I'm gonna rub
One-armed.
my left hand. I'm gonna go over to Warren and I'm gonna give him a little dirty look, like "fuck you, buddy." I remember. And then I'm gonna take my left hand and I'm gonna rub it in his hair. I'm gonna rub it all over his hair. And then I'm gonna go over to Saul and I'm gonna use all the oils from Warrendale's dirty hair, and I'm gonna try to oil up his neck so I can slip off the chain.
Did you use the stumpy arm or your actual hand?
I use my left hand. That's all I
Alright.
got now. I have to train. I'm like Jamie Lannister. I gotta retrain myself how to fight.
Yeah. You rub Greasy and Warrendare's hair. Yeah, that is a greasy mess. You swear he slicks that thing back every day.
He's lost so much blood right now. He's a little delusional. So pardon all the shit, but that's what's happening.
Give me another Constitution saving throw, actually, as a lot of blood loss is coming your way now, and you haven't stopped the bleeding.
Well, I tied the leather around it. I mean,
Oh yeah, that definitely does the trick. You take 7 more damage as I rolled low. You do feel woozy. You know that inevitably, if you don't do something about your own wound, although you're trying to solve the situation, that you're eventually going to fall unconscious. The oils, as you put them around his neck, you don't know how. As you get closer, give me an investigation check or Arcana, your choice.
You're being way too nice about this. Oh, hey, that's finally a fucking decent roll.
You have his neck completely oiled up with disgusting Warrendale grease. And no matter, there's a scene of like you one-armed around Fagolas's neck as he's like trying to, like a dog with his head stuck in a stupid in between 2 rails or nothing. You're just like pulling as hard as you can, and he's yelling out in pain that it hurts. This thing is not fucking budging at all. As you investigate it, you do see that there is runes etched along it. You get the strong feeling that since your freedom of movement didn't work and these runes, you start to put 2 and 2 together, that this is definitely a magical lock that isn't just simply going to break off. Now that Octavius has definitely had time to do his own stunts, what the hell is everybody else doing as this horror unfolds?
Vomiting. Or rocking a little bit back and forth, just like, I don't get Tavius. I don't get Tavius. I'm just kind of checking out a little bit.
Yeah, Reich is just standing there dumbfounded. The hell is wrong with you?
Warrendale?
I'm flicking my head back and forth since I can't quite fix my own hair since my hands are behind me, but doing my best to fix my hair that he ruined.
Libby would probably...
I am stuck until somebody can do something at the moment.
Libby would probably relay to Reclivian just a little bit of Warrendale, or not Warrendel's, Tavius's history, just like, he has a thing for pain and pleasing his God in that manner, and like in a way, there's there's something. He's survived this one, but this is that was just.
He threw his hand at him.
Yeah. I saw, unfortunately.
They could get out of that cage if they wanted to.
As you're mounting Soul and trying to pull the necklace off, you hear him like, "Whoa, maybe if I turn my neck like this," and he's on his belly now, and you're like on top of belly side of his neck trying to jimmy rig it, and he's just like, "No, it's stuck on my whisker. Oh, you're pulling it." And Jacka the Aarakocra is just looking at you guys in confusion and horror He says, "What the fuck is wrong with you humans?" And then he looks.
Everybody's just silent as they look back at him.
Yeah. It's like, what?
If you wanted to torture yourself, then you only needed to wait until Sansari comes back and ask more questions. But if you're trying to escape, which it looks like you're pitifully trying to do, may I suggest that you use that beast of a dragon to maybe smash open the rest of these cages and let us all out. At least then we will have a chance to do what we wish.
Saul, I think that sounds like a good idea, man. I'm a little tired. I'm gonna go sit in the corner. Okay. Okay, bye.
Says, Octavius, you need to at least grease up my wrist a little bit with my hair because I can't reach it to myself.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I can do that. Yeah, okay.
Octavius, do you have any spells to like heal yourself or anything? Or are you out?
I have a few, but
if
I'm more in tune right now to making sure that like I'm losing it a little bit from the blood loss,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of like,
if you don't heal yourself, you're gonna make Constitution saving throws every turn until you bleed out, basically, or until you make a. I guess you can make a proper medicine check if you're proficient in medicine.
I am. I'll do that first.
Okay.
I have +7, so we'll see what happens.
All right. So with that, you know that you definitely need some kind of proper, like all you got is like your loincloth, which you tie around tighter. This is going to stave off the constant saves. So basically you're giving yourself, what's that?
Can I, if I use that medical check, can I'll ask you if I can do this. Can I use the medicine check to find out what the best course of action would be to heal myself? And then once I figure that out, may I cast either, where are they? Fuck. Sacred Flame or something like that to sear my wrist, like to cauterize it, basically.
I mean, sure, you could hurt yourself further, or you could just cast Cure Wounds, and then that would essentially stop the bleeding for now.
That'll do it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'll just do that then.
I mean, by all means, if you want to keep killing yourself, then that makes my job a lot easier.
There, Cure Wounds.
All right. So, yeah, you cast the Cure Wounds on yourself. Now, you definitely still have a stumpy arm, and you're going to be in a whole heck of a lot of trouble if you have to actually fight now. As you said, you chopped off your good arm.
Disadvantage.
Or not your good arm, but whatever arm. And but for now, the bleeding stops, and you temporarily stave off any Constitution saving throws. And then if you do some strenuous or get beat up a little bit more, it might reopen the wound. But for now, you're not bleeding out. Fagolis or Soul would go up and smash the other two cages open. Warrendell, your shackle is behind your back, much to the veil of the one around Fagolis' neck, are not coming off, but you're at least broken off from the wall and can walk around. You just have two chains. You're just your arms behind your back. The rest of the party escapes. There's no magical chains on you guys.
Are they just handcuffs, basically?
Yeah, magical arcane locks or cuffs.
All right. Are they insanely tight, or does he feel like it's something that he could, sort of smash his, or not smash, or say, but pop his finger out of joint to pull free?
You make me an Arcana check. You have a feeling that the only thing that will maybe get you out of this thing is if you actually chop off your hands. Like it's magically around your
So I thought, okay.
wrist.
Well, I'd let you guys know that I'm basically can't do anything right now as far as magic goes, but
Listen, Jaka says, I've been here for a long time. Sensori has used her spells on me many of times to make simulacrums of myself. The foot soldiers that she uses are my own self, and I know that when she's done this, she's done it in her workshop where she would store a lot of the things that she's studying. It's probably where she would store your gear. Livy and Reich Liviant, you remember as your days comes through that as you're being dragged through the hallway that they did say something about workshop, put all of their gear there. And I know that a lot of the keys that she holds are also in that room. If we can make our way to the workshop, maybe we can find the key not only to your shackles, but more importantly, the shackles to this dragon, which, no offense, I have a feeling at full power might be a little more useful than any of us. And then I would like to repay all the years spent with Sansari personally to her. She has taken everything from me. If you give me this chance, I will aid you.
Looks like
Sounds about right.
I'm okay with this.
I don't think that.
Octavius will just get up and start heading towards the door. Like, yeah, okay, let's just go to the workshop. We're good. I'm a little woozy. Woo!
Lead the way.
Says, well, first, I am quite injured myself, but I at least roughly know where it is. It's not far. She's ignorant. She thinks that she calls us puny folk, are less than her. She doesn't give us the capabilities or the respect that we probably deserve. That is her one downfall, that she thinks she's superior to all of us. First task we'll have to overcome is getting through those doors. And he points, and about 45 feet away from you are these massive 40-foot double doors with the latch 15 feet up high. These doors are definitely made for giants. Anyone that hasn't spent any hit dice or has hit dice remaining may or may not want to spend them now.
I have nothing.
As I'm spending my hit dice, if it's cool with the group and you, I'd like to start lashing my warhammer to my stump. Probably about halfway up the handle.
You have no warhammer.
Well, then I'm not going to do it.
Oh, Livy will take her rapier back. Thank you, Reclivy.
So right now, Livy is the only person with a weapon, and she has the rapier.
Two of them.
Yeah.
Anyone want to wield the sword?
That's not a sword.
Maybe to you it's not. Yeah, anyone who wants to wield the rapier is welcome to. Although, I guess she'd kind of like... she'd be like, I have a sword. Looks at Reclivy, not so much a sword to you. Looks at Warndell. Still kind of feeling burned. Looks at Octavius and it's just like, he has issues. I don't know if this would help him or hinder him. And
Jacka would look and say, not a weapon that I'm trained with, but surely I could stab someone with it. If we fight the giants, then we're dead.
If we fight the giants?
If any of the cloud giants find us at our current state, we don't stand a chance against them. Understand that this weapon will serve us very little purpose.
Suppose we can avoid them.
Indeed.
That's my game plan anyways.
In the next room over, Sansari keeps her griffins. She keeps them as wild, untamed pets. Often lets them out to go devour small villages or farmers and gets sick of pleasure from watching them eat people like us. They're rather noisy, so we'll have to be careful while traversing their territory. First, we'll have to get over this door, though. How do you suppose we get through?
The barbarian is strong. Reach up there. Get them doors. You can do it.
You tell me what to do one more time.
It was just a suggestion.
I was thinking I might throw you over and use you as a chain.
That makes no sense.
Kind of like a grappling hook. Human, you're the top. I climb over the wall with you at the top of the wall. Yeah.
Fighting amongst ourselves hardly seems like a profitable idea.
My friend, if you knew what this man has caused, you would feel the same way.
This man has been in a cage for over a day now.
I don't know what you're talking about. And he turns away and does. How tall are these doors?
40 feet.
Oh, that's it?
The latch itself is about 15 feet high above you.
So about 8 feet above me.
How tall is Rick Livian?
About 7.
About 6. Maybe you can just hop on my shoulders and reach the handle.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think that sounds like a grand plan.
Go ahead and
But
make
we're going
a...
to put you on top of me.
I only have one hand.
Well, you're the dumbass that did that to yourself. Now you got to figure shit out. He picks you up and throws you on top of himself.
Yeah, I'll hop on top of Rick Livian. I'll jump,
right.
see if I can grab onto the handle with my left hand.
Give me an athletics check at disadvantage because you're handless now. This is going to be a reoccurring trend for the time being, Dan, just so you know. Cutting off your hand, not going to be super beneficial.
Hey, man, I got the dragon almost fully freed.
It's true. I admit that you definitely caught me off guard.
That was definitely impressive.
I am impressed and horrified. That
My mission
is definitely not enough. You feel that if you would have had both hands, yeah, this would have been not that big a deal. But as you jump up, you basically cling on with one arm and you start to pull, and then you go to grab with your other arm and then realize you don't have one and you kind of fall down onto...
Now that I'm attached to the door handle, could Rick Livian grab my feet and try to pull?
You slip off the door handle.
Oh, that sucks.
Right belly laughs, picks you up off the ground and goes, okay. And he starts climbing on top of you.
All right, make an athletics check.
Yeah. The thing he's best at. Let's hope it doesn't have to die. Oh my god! God, are you kidding me?
Defeated by a door, you stand on him, but Octavius isn't quite ready. As you do, Octavius, you start to feel the stitching or whatever you did around your stump begin to tear open, and you kind of yell out in pain. And as you do, your shoulder slumps a bit, and Rick Livian comes tumbling down.
It's as if you're going to make a no-handed mage do this.
I'm still not allowed to kill him, right?
You hear squawking in the other room now as you guys are making a little bit of a ruckus.
Jaka, was it?
Yes, I am Jaka.
How many of your clones usually come in and deal with people if there's an issue or when they come and fetch them?
I know that she has at least a dozen of them by my count.
What if we perhaps make a bit of ruckus so some of them come? They'll open the doors, we take care of them, or perhaps the dragon takes care of them. Doors are open and we can go on our way.
I suppose it's not a bad idea. The alternative, though, is that we are unlucky and it's not the clones of me that show up, but a cloud giant, and they see that the cages are broken and our friend here is not quite as shackled, and then we have to deal with a cloud giant, maybe more, unarmed and weakened.
Do they often come?
He says, depends. Usually it's just Sansari that comes to the prison to interrogate this poor beast. Fagola says, I'm not a beast, I'm a brave and wise dragon. Very powerful, just caught in a bit of a bad patch of luck.
Indeed. Well, we can always hope for the best and hope it's only a few. I'll hide back there behind it, let the clones come in. Mr. Dragon will stomp on them a few times and we can get on.
All right.
Unless, of course, these two bumbling fools can open the door.
Hey, Saul, this is a really stupid question, but if you go into your human form, can you just slip through that shackle?
Very not stupid question, Octavius, but I've definitely tried that. These shackles, they are stopping me from using any of my powers. They keep me transfixed in this form.
Does that include your breath?
Yes, my breath also. I'm basically just a walking, talking, giant copper dragon.
Me too, but instead I'm just a handsome man instead of a dragon.
I know that a copper dragon might seem impressive to some of you, but if you've seen my true powers, then you would know that it's not nearly. I'm not much of a fighter myself. I consider myself more of a sage or a studier of woods and wagons. Yes, wagons. I particularly like wagons.
Much the same for me, sorry. I'm not much of a fighter either, but I'm not much for wagons. I like women, but not wagons. But I'm quite a sage too. We got a lot in common. How about that plan and create a bit of a ruckus? Maybe, if not, unless perhaps you have some better ideas, perhaps maybe you can climb up there and get the door. My hands are a bit behind my back right now.
Up to you guys. You guys want to make a do you want to try the door again? It's definitely at this point going to take some time now that you kind of failed your checks. You guys are going to basically 10 minutes has already went by, and if you're going to try the door again, we're going to assume that some time has passed as this is clearly becoming an issue.
Yeah.
But if you want to try,
nimble, but she's not strong. So if it's all about dexterity and nimbleness, she's your girl.
No, but she was. I mean, Reich is usually good at it. He just rolled a 1.
Maybe she'll roll a 20.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, if you'll give Reich a second chance, I'll definitely try to handle again.
I'll give you a second chance, but it'll be assumed that more time has passed, and then the more time that's passed, obviously things are going on.
Yeah.
Whereas if you cause a diversion, then that happens kind of right now.
Yeah, it's up to the group. Doesn't matter to me. Reich is interested in trying to handle it. It's very literal.
If we can avoid a fight, we probably should. Maybe we should try the door again.
It's worse than it causes a ruckus, which we'd have to do anyway, so.
All right, hop on, big guy.
Yeah.
All right, so if you hop on and you're trying again, I'm just basically not going to make you roll. You're going to succeed because obviously a door is going to inevitably open if you put all your time into it. But what happens is a good...
I rolled anyways.
Yeah.
It was already in my hand. I just let go.
20-ish minutes pass now as you finally get the door kind of open, and we pan over to the scene on the other side of the door, which begins to push open, and then you guys tumble in on yourselves into the room. Revealing an even larger room that's lit up with basically it's the room shape is like a large slice of a pie, kind of like triangular in shape. In the center of the room is massive griffin cages. The room itself is 140 feet long and 120 feet wide. On the opposite side, so we're going to say on the west side, you guys are coming in from the east, are two massive windows which open up and light kind of beams into them. You also see two sconces of large flame 15 feet above, illuminating the northern half of this room. In these large cages where feathers and hay kind of is all strewn around, you see 5 very angry looking griffins that are indeed squawking now quite loudly and making quite the ruckus as they've noticed you guys in here. As you guys fall into the room,
do any of them look familiar?
Out of character, no, and in character, definitely not.
Okay.
And to the rest of the party, also, these are very mean, wild-looking griffins. They actually, as Octavius, you kind of stumble into the room. You fall maybe a little bit too close to the cage, and you're kind of like picking yourself up, and your face is just like maybe 10 feet in front of the cage, and a large angry beak comes snapping out at you and just misses your face by a couple inches.
That was rude.
Animal handling, that's my strong suit. Perhaps we should hurry.
Yes, let's go.
All right. As you begin to, are you doing so stealthily or making your way across the room?
Do we get a bonus because we're not wearing a lot of gear?
Nay.
One could hope. One could hope.
I give you A for effort. Yeah, true.
I'd assume.
Hey, would you look at that? 23 for stealth.
Oh, we're stealthing?
Yep.
Olivia's. If you guys don't want to, you don't have to, I guess, but...
Yeah, he's not stealthing.
All right, so what do we got here? We got a 20,
The big goof.
23, an 8, natural 1.
Yes, if everybody else is.
Yeah, you guys aren't stealthing too well.
Me and Livy stealth.
And Jacka, our Aarakocra friend, also
Warren
rolled
have a bonding moment as they are both on the same stealth level. She's like, okay, maybe we can work together again.
And yeah, as you look behind, the others have like accidentally maybe like bumped into the cage and now have the griffins fully engaged in like squawking loudly and making too much of a noise. And then you hear the door open from the north, which is the only other door, and the door that you need to come through begin to open up, and you see these large but luckily thanks like at first you see these large shadowy figures, big plump bodies walk in, and you begin to fear that a giant is coming into the room, but it's not quite that big. This creature stands about 10 foot tall and has this pale orange skin to it, and they're wearing chef coats. Anyone that actually was in Nightstone, so Octavius and Warrendell and Livy would recognize these creatures, not the same ones that you bumped into, as ogres. 3 ogres walk in with chef coats and buckets that they're carrying, which looks like they're full of slop. And one pushes out of the way and says, "Get out of the way, Krob. I want to feed these guys and get it over with." And then the other says, "Listen here, Drat. I'm feeding them today. Last time you fed them, you got your fingers bit off almost." And then with the 3 fails, that means that the group did not succeed. They look at you 3 and just say, "Oi, you lot don't look like griffins."
Sure we do.
One comes in and sniffs. "Well, you don't smell like griffins."
Well, I'm telling you, we are.
What do you think?
Right, Vivian turns on his wings.
You see them whisper to themselves, "Well, Drek, he has wings. The griffins have wings, and he has the wings, or maybe they are griffins." And then the other one says, "Krob, you idiot. They can't be griffins. They're talking to us, and the griffins don't know how to talk." And he says, "Well, I'm not really a griffin scientist or anything. I don't. Are you a griffin scientist?" And then they start to bicker with each other. And Drek says, "Well, let's just go ask Sensory. She don't know what to do. You griffins or not griffins, stay right here. And I'm going to go ask Sensory."
That sounds like a perfect answer.
To which Drat says, "But if we leave them here and they're not griffins, then what happens if they sneak away? Then Sensory will be mad at us and we'll be fired. And we won't be able to be cooks anymore."
Oh, no, we wouldn't do that to you.
Griffin honor. What do you think?
"Well, Drek, the griffins are said to be an honorable race." "Yes, you idiot, but what if they're not griffins?"
We are definitely griffins, and I flap my wings.
Make me some deception checks.
Can I do a low level intimidation instead of a deception?
You could try to intimidate ogres, keeping in mind that these creatures are actually larger than you, and although you can tell they're clearly not idiots, they don't look like they're necessarily intimidable creatures.
They seem a little slow to me, I gotta tell you.
Fine.
Up to you, though. You can do anything that you want to do. I see that Octavius, for some reason, rolled an intimidation check. Is that on purpose, or?
Oh, I thought that was supposed to be a
Deception.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I did a persuasion.
Okay, just use your, what is your deception?
My
Deception 2.
persuasion is actually a plus
I'm
4.
just gonna let that sit right there.
All right. Well, with that roll, Drek says, "Well, the one with wings has wings, so he might be a griffin, but none of you have wings, so we can't trust you. No offense, Mr. Honorable Griffin Man, but I'm gonna make Drat stand here, and Karob, you stay here too, just in case they try anything funny, and I'll be right back."
Doesn't Jaka have wings?
Holy shit, another one of them has wings. Oh. But that one has no feathers on its wings. Griffins have feathers. Oh, you're right. We can't trust them. He's a featherless griffin. They're not quite as honorable. Yes. Drat and Krob will stay, and I'll go. And now they've changed who's going to go talk to Sansari, but still 2 of them are going to watch over you.
Great.
So,
While you're here, maybe you can show us around the castle.
Drat looks to you. Or, no, Drat's the one going. So Drat goes. Drat goes. Krob.
They see me and Livy?
They don't see you and Livy, actually, no. You guys are stealthed. You're literally face palming from this conversation going down, though.
Oh yeah, like Livy's trying to think in her head, like maybe we can ask him to a riddle or something, but it's like no, just stay silent and think of how to get them out of this stupid.
You guys know that ogres are dumb as shit, but they're definitely still like strong creatures, and you doubt that even in your current circumstance that you could take on 2 of them. So you know you're in a sticky situation here, and you don't know how long you have.
Yeah, and for Livy, I'm trying to pull off the last unicorn trick where Schmendrick would ask the one guy a riddle, and he would then think about it and then come back and tell him the answer, which would give Schmendrick time to go do other things. And so I'm like, I don't know how to pull this off with Livy. Dang it! So
Are they holding their buckets of slop?
Yes. And they have these 2 massive wooden spatulas that looks like they would serve as a club, no problem.
oh,
All right. Well, as those 3 are arguing.
Giant club.
for
2
the
now.
moment- can I get it before the other one left? Maybe?
The other one is already. What do you got in mind? Because the other one is like,
Well, I
on
was
his
going
way
to say,
out.
if I've seen the other one leaving, I would come around the corner. Be like, what the hell is this? I've been sent here to feed these damn bastards, and a lot of you are already here. The Sansari has need for you down in the hallways. Chop, chop. Let's go, let's go. Do I look like I have time to do this?
They scratch their head. You hear Drat whisper to Drek, "Who the hell's this guy?"
So, I'm the brand new recruit. The Sansari just recruited me just a little while ago. I helped destroy these damn villagers down below, and you shouldn't be seeing me laying waste to the little bastards. But anyway, I got to feed these bastards, and we got to get out there. She has some planning to do. She said she needed you to cook up a bit of a meal. She has guests arriving tonight or some shit. We don't have time for this, you guys. We got to get to moving. Chop, chop.
Krob, with a little bit of hurt in his voice, says, "But she hired us on to be the cooks here. We signed ourselves on to a 2-year contract, whatever that means."
And she needs you down at the kitchen cooking up some bitch because her little younglings are getting a bit hungry and ornery. Remember last time the children got hungry? What'd they do to the shop? They destroyed the whole place. Don't you remember that?
I do remember the little children being a bit.
I know. Little bastards running around. We don't have time for this, guys. Drat, crap.
Yeah.
Whatever your names are.
He knows our names. He must be official.
So
But-
I'll get this out of this. I'll take care of these griffins. I'll feed them a bit of your slab. You get down there so she doesn't have your asses handed to you. You don't want to get fired.
There's another issue we have, though. There's potentially some not griffins.
Oh,
mixed in with the griffins and they broke out of their cages.
well, then I'll just take care of them bastards too.
Make a deception check.
Can I use persuasion?
No, this is a straight up deception.
Let's say either way, but
18. Nice. Well,
so look, I'm just trying to cover your asses. You can get down, you can cook the children their food, you can help Sansari. I'll cover your asses up here. I'll take care of these. You know, I've had a lot of time under interrogation. I can interrogate these perhaps Griffin, not Griffin folks and figure out one way or another if they are Griffins. If not, I'll take care of it. If so, then I'll just feed them a bit of slop too. I'm sure they're looking forward to it. It smells delicious.
We're not happy about you being hired here. We thought we were going to be the cooks, and now you coming in here taking our jobs. You best believe that we're going to go to the union about this. We have more seniority than you. Yeah, we do. And then we're going to talk to Tholen, Sansari's brother. He's not quite as mean. He likes picking flowers, but he knows a good union, and we're in one. He won't stand for this.
Union?
We're going. But you haven't heard the last of us. We are the Griffin feeders.
Well, tomorrow you can feed the Griffins. How do I get in on this union, though? Perhaps I should maybe start at the bottom and work my way up. I'm just doing what I've been told. But
And then they go back. Well, that's normally how union works, but somehow you managed to come away on your top, and now you're taking our job. That's not right. And then they will kind of actually begin to storm their way out. But they do say they're going to go complain to somebody. Is what you're hearing.
Look. Fine. Next time I'll let you, your asses be handed to you. I don't really care, but do a good job. Cook them foods.
The three ogres begin to storm out the hallway, mumbling to themselves about how this is unfair and this they won't stand for this. They've been here longer. They have more seniority than you.
Good luck, fellas.
The birds are pissed. They haven't been fed yet. But the 3 buckets of slop have been left on the floor. They're starting to squawk like crazy.
Birdsmen, feed them. Birds. My hands are behind my back. I can't quite get to it, but then we will move on from here.
Jacka looks to you and says, I have a name, you racist prick. And grabs
I was talking to the other one. I know your name, Jacka. I like you.
He throws a piece of raw meat to the cage, and a griffin chomps down on it, throws another piece. Griffin chomps down on it. The griffins have been dealt with now. As you look down the hallway, you watch Krob, Drac, and Derek march down a long hallway, which measures to be about almost 200 feet long and 20 feet wide. As it goes down, you see first and foremost on the right-hand side, about 60 feet down the hallway, is a massive single door. All these doors are about 40 feet high, and then another 60 feet is a right turn which leads into Livy. You remember the audience chamber, and then past the audience chamber, continuing northward, is another single door on the right, and then the hallway finally ends after 120 feet and branches off to the left or the west.
Where's our gear?
All right. So I guess
Livy and Rick Livian can make an insight check to see if they can kind of get their bearings.
wait. Imagine that Livy would be
Livy.
chamber is where they were taken to that first time, right?
Yeah, the audience chamber is where you and Octavius were taken. But as you were being dragged in, you remember actually coming from the end of this hallway from the left, and they brought you out from basically.
That we're supposed to be seeing.
What's that?
Is there a map that we're supposed to be seeing?
Yeah, I could. I guess I can show you the map. It's gonna probably freeze you guys' computer for a second because it's a rather big map. So let me see if I can share to you. Sync client view, and then I'm just gonna move Warren's character for now and see if I can make you guys look at what I'm looking at. Sharing sync client view. So basically, you guys should see what I see now. I recommend right-clicking on it and then going to the resize, which is the 2 double squares, and resizing it to a smaller size so that it doesn't take up your whole screen.
What?
And
I
basically,
don't see anything.
It'll probably pop up in a few moments. It's a big map, so it's probably gonna really mess with your screen for a second.
What?
Oh, there it is.
Loading.
Yeah, my computer just phased out. But basically, moral of the story, Livy, is you remember that the audience chamber is the second right, but you remember as you kind of being dragged down this hallway the first time into the prison cells, that the right farthest from you, the very last door on the right, is where the workshop was said to be. The hallway itself is made of long white stone. It kind of has like this cathedral-like ceiling, which opens up like 80 feet above and almost has like a church-like kind of mosaic painted on it of cloud giants looking down below, kind of draping their hands into the sky and like lapping up the sky like it's an ocean, all kind of just like lazily sitting around. It's very like almost kind of mosaic or religious looking, only as the cloud giants as gods instead of actual gods being gods.
Okay. Yeah, Livy would definitely have conveyed and would potentially even lead, like, let's go this way and follow me quietly, please.
Now, while you look at this massive hallway, you look and there's like literally all it is long hallway. It seems like it literally stretches forever because it is like a 200-foot hallway, and there is little to nowhere to hide. So if you get caught in this hallway, you know that you're going to be in big trouble. So what are you guys doing?
Did we establish where our gear is?
Yes, the second door on the right. So I don't know if you can see my circles on the map, but right there.
Let's see. So down this hallway, pretty barren. No like pillars or poles.
Just the sconces, 15 feet above, two of them lighting up the hallways. The flames are actually kind of like a nice bluish color.
Okay.
Well, I assume we're gonna have to make a run for it.
Yeah, we could run.
Unless one of you wants to go, perhaps the athletic folk or faster folk. Where's that tabaxi monk when you need her?
Let me just like
Too soon.
And she will be like, well, I can dash to this first portion of the hallway and then try and look down and make sure there's no one there. And she can actually, I think something Livy may try and do is she'd be willing to dash down to the first hallway and kind of peek around the corner, make sure no one's there. And then she'll actually dash up to the end to peek around the corner just to kind of keep watch. And then hopefully people can maybe see her hand movements, or she'll send dancing lights as a signal to say, okay, come. If the lights go out, hide. And she'll try and duck into this doorway if she needs to.
Okay, so you want to run up to where they turn off for the audience chamber is and just peek around the corner and see what's going on?
Yeah, just to see if anyone's coming, but she'll make a first stop at the first hallway just to be safe.
Okay.
That no one's there. So
are you doing so stealthily, or are you doing so just
stealthily, or at least as stealthily as stealthy can be? And so here we go. I'm going to use inspiration. That's better.
All right, so yeah, you dash off and you start running down the hallway. You feel completely exposed because you essentially are, but you
like main weapon is the only thing that she's kind of carrying with her is she's just going in her cloth.
Yeah, you run around and you peek around the corner though, however, and you look into the audience chamber to see if anyone is there. And as you open up, you remember basically the room is the same as it's was when you were there. The sky hole is currently closed now. Actually, sorry, I lied to you. It is open, and you see the two giant children, Keltar and Alistra, currently playing around the hole. And you see that even though I don't have them there, the Aarakocra men minions are currently also standing guard. Sansari is not there. I don't really have the token. I'm not going to worry about the tokens. Just kind of theater of the mind it. But basically, you see Alistra and Keltar currently basically playing, and the female Alistra is currently basically using the animated clones of Jaka as little dolls, and basically playing with them, even though she's like ogre size basically, so she's a little bit bigger than them. Childish nonetheless. She's wearing this pretty little pink and blue dress, and she's currently like making the Aarakocra basically have like tea with her. The other guy, though, the boy Kaltar, is currently picking on them, and he's making them fight. And he says the winner of the battle doesn't go flying through the hole.
Okay.
The Aarakocra aren't fighting, though, so he begins to yell at them. I told you to fight! Why aren't they fighting? Listen to me! I'm the queen's son! And he starts yelling at them, and they're just kind of, they don't follow his command.
Livy's bringing out the dancing lights halfway down the hall-ish. I'm not exactly sure how, each square is 5 feet, right?
Generally.
Okay, cool. So, other way, she's going towards where everyone else is, so they have a signal, they can see the light turn on, and they can start making their way. And when they get closer, she'll kind of put a hand up and like signaling like quiet, like you need to be quiet.
As you watching this unfold, you guys want to make a stealth check across as I throw it to the rest of the party to make a decision. We'll go in order here. What is Livian doing?
Yeah, I mean, he'll try to push across.
All right, stealth check then.
I don't foresee this being a positive situation for this big motherfucker.
Something Livy would try to do if someone does mess up is quickly bring the dancing lights, like running in, like into the room, because I believe she can direct them to 120 feet.
That sounds right.
And so, if as she's watching and if they seem to look that way, she will try and make those lights just zip in and just going as far as she can to hopefully keep their attention there. So,
all right, Livian, you follow in pretty quietly behind, and you watch this two giant, like these kids they look like little toddlers, but they're larger than you, basically playing. And Kaltar says, these bird men are idiots. They have stupid bird brains. They can't listen worth anything. And he slams his fist and absolutely crushes one into a bunch of pieces of ice. Alistra says, Kaltar, you can't do that. Those are mom's soldiers. She's going to be really mad at you. And then he yells at her and says, they're not going to be mad at me if you don't tell them, you little rat. Maybe I'll send you flying through the door. And she kind of goes back, like, you can't throw me through the door. And they start bickering like little kids. What are you doing, Octavius?
I'm going to hang back at the back of the line. But I'm going to be as intently watching for any signs of somebody sneaking up on us or, any opportunity to have to distract from my group.
All right. So you don't want to run down the hallway then?
No.
Okay. Warrendale?
I will make my way and do my stealth check. Not great, but sliding along the wall to get up to where Rickovia and Livy are.
Yeah, you get up to the wall, and as you basically, it's not so much that you're noisy doing so, you just have to be really quiet and you're slow. And as you do, you watch the children. Kaltar says that he's getting bored of these stupid toys. He wants new toys. He likes the toys that Mom brought. He wants them to be his new toys. And if these stupid birdmen can't listen, then he'll make them listen. And he grabs one soldier by his arms and basically walks over to Alistra's tea party and just basically says like, I'm a big mean bird monster. And then he takes the spear and jabs it into the throat of the Aarakocra that's sipping on tea and smashes it into a million pieces again. And then Alistra begins to cry and say that she's going to tell her mom. You guys are now against all three of you Jaka. Jaka, will look to you, Octavios, and ask, do you want me to stay with you or am I going ahead? We can't separate ourselves too much.
Go with the group and keep them safe.
All right, he goes. And the group, you would see that this Birdman is pretty old now, and he's also going quite slow to be quiet. So it's up to you guys if you do anything. But as you look over at the party, you see that he's going down, and you see what the two kids are up to. And Kaltar is in the mix of throwing the one that he has by the arms into the hole. And he says that he loves the way these birdmen fly into the hole after snapping off its wings so that it couldn't fly. He kicks it down and he says, I'm going to ruin your little tea party and throw it down the hole too. And he goes to do so. You see that Jacka is about halfway down the hallway. He's at about the door.
Come on, Jacka. Come on, Jacka. And Olivia would whisper to the others, like, just up there, like, across the hall, and that door on the right, okay? That's the one.
All right. So you guys then are going to wait. What I'm basically trying to say is that Jack is going to take 2 turns to get to where you guys are.
Okay.
So you guys hold action then? Or are you guys going to move ahead?
Person wants to zip over to try and start getting the door open and whatnot, so we can start.
All right, go ahead and zip over, make another stealth check. We're just going to keep the order. I don't know why I chose this order, but we're going to keep it.
Oh, I was going to have Livy continue kind of being watch.
Okay, Livy stays on watch. Right, Livy.
Looking towards the door, looking towards the hall, she's setting her dancing lights down to try and distract them to stay in and look away from where they're at.
Right, Livian, she tells you that the door is just an odd 40 feet away. If you run, you could probably be there quickly. If you're stealthy and quiet, it's probably going to take you 2 turns.
Don't people get to do 2 movements on a turn if they don't do anything else?
Yes, but to stealth is actually also an action. So
right.
If you're being stealthy, then you're choosing to be stealthy. If you're going to dash, then you can definitely move the double movement.
Okay. Thank you for the reminder.
No worries.
I can move that in 1 movement.
Oh, yeah, you have barbarian movement. Yeah, so you can get to the door. You're right. Sorry. So stealth if you want. And then the other kind of downside of this, though, is that the door is big and going to need it's not quite as hard to open, but it's still going to need an athletics check to push open. So it's up to you whether you want to stealth and then push the door open next turn or just move to the door and push it open.
Oh, no. I just want to move. Sorry.
Okay.
Disregard that.
All right. So you move then. The children do hear something then as you do move. Kaltar says, Alstra, stop crying. Someone's coming. If you stop crying, I'll give you my treat tonight. And then they both kind of look over and they don't see you, right, Livian, but they've been alerted as Kaltar has the broken winged last guy in his hand. He quickly pushes it through the moon hole or the sky hole and then puts his hands behind his back like he's not doing anything. Livy, you're kind of like peeking around the corner seeing this as Alistra's not sure if she's going to stop crying or not yet. But you're at the door and you want to make an athletics check. Fit 13, you are able to push the door open. That ends your kind of turn.
Yeah, and I just push it just enough to make it so that we'll all be able to get through it. You know what I mean? So just like a little squeak, like a
Warrendale, the kids have been alerted, but they don't see what's going on. They just think someone's coming. What do you do?
Well, if they're looking down the hall and stuff, I'd have to stay where I'm at because can't cross 40 feet without them seeing me. So yeah, just stay where I'm at and just wait for Louis to make a sign or decide what we want to do next.
Yep. Okay. And then Octavios, unless you interject, I'm just going to assume that you're holding position. Okay. Then back to the top of the initiative now. Kaltar is going to try to persuade his sister not to tattle on him. And he rolls a 5. She says, no, I'm not forgiving you this time for wrecking my tea party. I'm going to tell Mom. And then she begins to cry and run down the hallway. She's quite far away, so even at full speed, Livy, she doesn't make it fully to you. She makes it basically, I'm going to use the Aarakocra as a token, but right around there.
Oh, snaps.
get them to
Well,
go the corner, then
huh?
if you can get them to go just around the corner, we can make a run for it.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll kind of be like, I'm not sure if a distraught child's going to notice dancing lights and want to follow it back into the chamber, but now might be maybe an okay time for a rope trick as she's like starting to pull out her rope. Because if anything, if we're lucky, she'll be so distraught she won't notice the rope, and we can hide in here real quick. But looks back at the Aarakocra.
Does she have a rope?
She'd be up to us. Oh right, dang it! Arr! She'll be doing the motions for it and realizing, never mind.
Perhaps kids are simple-minded. Make it look like a humanoid form and walk around the corner. They'll have to go check it out.
Yep. And which corner is he talking about? Like continuing down the hall or back?
We're around the corner somewhere. It doesn't matter where. So
So she's making the shapes.
All right, give me an Arcana check to just see how distracting it is. Unless you want to do something else. If you can reason something else to me, then I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Here goes nothing. 12.
Yeah, 12 is just enough to capture her attention for only a moment. So just enough to make her kind of look, but she's not following it. So if you wanted to dash across into the room that Rick Liviant is in, now is your chance to do it. Otherwise, you have a feeling that this kid's just kind of like looking at this like, what the heck is this? But then she's not going to be distracted by it for very long.
And she'll even kind of whisper like, I'm going to run just for the sake of it and book it across. And I imagine the Aarakocra had caught up to us by this time, right?
Yeah, he did. Sorry, I didn't say that, but he did.
Yeah, so just want to make sure that he also hears. It's like, distraught child, I'm just going to book it over to be safe, okay? And come quick. And
Yep. Warrendale, following suit, I assume?
Would I have time?
Yep.
Oh, if I have time, then yes.
Yeah, you basically just bought like a one turn with that of distraction with the thing. So yeah, you run. Now, slow ass Jacka.
Run for your life, literally.
Yeah, I'll give it to you guys. He's gonna run, and he makes it in. So you get into the room, and what you see is what looks like a workshop. In the center of the room is, I guess I can just show it to you. But again, I don't want to rely on the map too much since we're not really showing it off to anybody. But in terms of what it looks like, let me just reveal that. And it looks like a workshop. There's a bunch of desks and tables. In the center of the room is a massive table which has a ton of different gear and stuff on it. You start to recognize it as your gear as you see your armor and all your inventory and your weapons and clothing and everything that should be on you is definitely on the table, along with a bunch of other things. You quickly, I'm assuming, close the door behind you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give one more strength check to kind of push it closed.
All of us together.
Yeah, advantage.
Oh, advantage? I
Yep.
got you. Bam.
As Levy comes in, would whisper to Racklivian, just like,
Bam.
that child coming.
There you go. Nice. All right. Door is shut. And just in the nick of time, as you hear Alastra come around the corner, and she comes up to the workshop door and knocks on it and calls out for her mom. Mom! Mother!
Oh my gosh.
Does anyone say anything?
Mm-mm.
Or it looks like he's
Libby's like surveying the room like, huh. And if anything, she might be grabbing a piece of rope here real fast and
A second goes by. Mother! She calls out. And then you hear her mumble to herself, oh, she must not be in the workshop. And then her feet kind of stomp around by as you hear her sobbing, and her voice disappears down the hallway. You guys kind of let out a deep sigh as the child goes away. You have a moment in this room. What do you guys do?
here, now.
Climb up the table.
Yeah, definitely.
You can make
Like a mad rush.
make athletic checks or acrobatics checks to climb up the tables if you want.
Look for something to get these shackles off me. Perhaps the dragon.
Libby's
You
like,
can make a investigation check also if you want. Warrendale, you're gonna kind of have disadvantage to climb up the table in this.
I didn't plan to yet.
All right, then let's see what you guys rolled.
I rolled a 10 for Livy.
Right, Livy, and you make it up there, no problem. Everybody else is like Livy. You're kind of struggling. You'll make it up there next turn, but
Right gets up there and he just starts throwing things down.
Yep, exactly. So you start chucking things down. Now, what you see on top of the table is all of your gear, but you also notice that there seems to be some silver chime-looking bell. These fancy-looking, like crystal-like glasses, a large iron rod with some black keys on it, a couple of potions, 5 of them to be precise, and a weird silver feathered token, and at the end of the feather is a bird's beak opened with a claw coming out of it.
Oh, yeah.
You throw down the rest of the gear to everybody. And
Come down, Livy will pick them up and see if any of them work on Warrendel's cuffs.
any of the keys?
Yeah.
None of the keys have a hole to go in for Warrendel's cuffs.
All right. That was the one that has no hole.
Give everybody else one action to do something. Warrendel, what do you do? If anything, you can just say.
For the stuff that's thrown down, do I recognize any of it, or I don't know if I can make any checks, but
Can make an Arcana check. Yeah, make an Arcana check, investigation, whatever you determine. Let me know, or I guess I'll see when you roll it.
I guess where is it? Me, 10.
Yeah, you're struggling, unfortunately. You don't really see any. You get a hope that the keys, and then you kind of yell at Livy to maybe like use one of the keys and see if they fit, and then you remember that there's no keyhole to fit it in. Right, Liviant, what are you doing? You're fully equipped now. Chucking things down.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you're doing in particular, or just
What was this bar you said?
bar? Sorry, there was a chime silver bell, some crystal, like they look like goggles, basically like tinkerer's goggles, but they're finely made. They have like crystal lenses. You see a set of keys which you've chucked down, 5 different potions, and a token of a bird's feather with a bird's beak at the end of it. That's what you hold on to. Okay, you pocket that. Livy, are you doing anything in particular? You're not there. Octavios.
I'm gonna move closer to the door to the hallway so that I can if I can keep an eye on like when they're coming back type thing.
Yep. So yeah, you do so. And Livy, are you doing anything after the keys don't work?
Getting her gear on, like what sifting through, being like, okay, cool, got my vest, other belt. I can take, or if you want to keep using this my rapier, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I'm going to sheath it and all that jazz. And rope, yes, hallelujah. Okay.
So you are fully equipped. When Octavios, you're looking down the hallway, and they seem to be just taking a little bit too long. You start to get nervous, and you don't know whether you should go and run or not. But then you feel the ground kind of shake as you hear a presence come down the hallway. Coming around the left corner, you see none other than Sansari, and she's talking to another cloud giant. This guy seems to be, I guess, from 200 feet. You probably can't make him out, but he, just as tall as her, is speaking to her. She seems to be saying something back and forth, and she seems rather upset. But the other guy goes and grabs her by the hands and pulls her in and tries to give her a kiss, but she pushes him away and basically yells at him, and then he kind of goes away, and then Sansari begins to boof, boof, boof. You guys hear her on the other side.
Is she going towards the workshop?
Her hand is on the workshop door.
All right. Oh. One question for just quick clarification. Are the griffins in raised cages? Like, are the cages on stilts, or are they hanging from the ceiling, or are the cages directly on the floor?
Some are raised on chains, and the one closest to you, which is about 15 feet away, is on the floor, like just slightly raised.
All right, so what I'm going to do, Octavius is going to notice Sansari going for the workshop door handle. He's going to realize the jeopardy and the timing that is needed for this.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to run back into the room, and he's going to start smashing on the griffin cages to rile up the griffins and get them to make as much noise as possible, hopefully getting Sansari to be intrigued and come and check out what's going on. He's going to just keep banging and banging on the outside of the griffin cages until they're squawking so loudly that she doesn't have a choice.
All right. So yeah, give me a. No, I'm just gonna let you do it. There. I'll make you a deal. You can make me an animal handling check because right now they're eating, so like they're kind of content. So you can either make me an animal handling check to try to stir them up, or you can risk yourself by pulling their food away and just pissing them off. And pulling their food away will definitely piss them off, but it'll be a little more dangerous. So your choice. Animal handling check or pull the food away and risk getting your hand chomped. Your other only good hand chomped off.
Use your stump.
I'm going to make a quick animal handling just to see what happens here.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so you are...
By getting such a low roll that it's almost as if I'm trying to pull their food away.
Yeah. But more... Yeah. So you're trying to do that, and they just basically are not paying attention at all, and you're just basically like shit, and then you do go to pull their food away, but as you look back down the hallway, you see that she's already pushing the door open, and that's when I throw it to you guys to make a reactionary. What do you all do? Start with Livy.
Livy's like, oh goodness. Is this the table over here on the south end or the bottom end of the room?
That's a desk, basically, or a drawer. Giant size. Everything's giant size, too, I should state. So, like, anything to, like, get on top of it would need to climb.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that she will try and utilize the corner to help disguise the rope, because I don't remember if, in rope trick, if you're able to pull the rope up.
Yeah, I can look that up, but you're gonna cast rope chip.
Yeah.
We're gonna end right here anyway, so that you can just class rope chip and climb in.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what you're doing. So remember that. Right, Livian, what are you doing?
Be pulled into the space. So she's gonna be like, guys, up the rope now.
Now the problem is that you and Warrendale are right beside each other. So Warrendale, you're easiest to act. Do you jump in the rope trick or do you do something else?
I would love to climb up that rope, but I'm not able to.
All right. So what are you doing? Yeah, you're right.
Well, I figured I'd be kind of looking through the stuff and work my way around the table of all the different stuff that Rick Leviathan threw down. So I'll hearing the door start opening up a little bit there. I'm gonna just take a beeline towards, I guess it's a tree or a bush or whatever that is up there in the corner.
Okay.
Try to, hide up in there.
That's a decent. Lots of coverage there, so you can basically get full coverage easily. So you can make a stealth check at advantage.
Nice.
And while he's doing that, Rick Liviant, you're on the table throwing things down. Now the table is littered with different kind of junk like books and cups and jars and everything. What do you do?
I would definitely, when the door, sounds like it's gonna open, stop throwing things down. The last thing that he takes is that bird piece, and then he finds a thing to hide behind. Maybe it's I don't know, an old piece of a food product.
All right, give me a stealth check.
Never gonna work out well. An 8.
Up to you if you want to spend inspiration if you have it.
I don't have any.
No, I thought you did. You should.
I think we all got one at the end of last session.
Yeah, I thought I said everyone can have one. So if you don't have one, you can spend it.
Okay, how will you spend one?
You duck behind a piece of cheese, but you realize that this is a terrible. Your legs are hanging out from the cheese, so you know that's not going to work.
Piece of Swiss cheese.
Dive into the hole of the Swiss cheese.
You dive into the hole of the Swiss cheese with a 5 and an 8. Your legs are kind of hanging out a bit, and you get stuck in the Swiss cheese. That's kind of where you leave off. Sansui pushes open the door. She comes in, she shuts it, she stretches out a bit, goes over to the table, sits down at the desk, and kind of looks around. You hear her kind of mumble to herself. It seems like someone's been in here. Where's all the gear? Where's the stuff that we looted from a while ago? Those damn children. I told them not to be in my office. Doesn't matter, though. I have the most important thing right now. Those stupid barbarians fell right into my master plan. And you see her reach to her necklace that she pulls out. And as she pulls out her necklace, you see that there's like this little kind of chest, which would be a normal size chest for you guys, but she's wearing it around her neck. And she plucks it off and she kind of looks at it and she begins to chant these magical somatic words. And as she does, the chest begins to grow and grow and grow. And she rests it on the table and she says, yes, soon after I torture that dragon and finally get the final phases of this ritual, I will combine the noon stone and the night stone and bring on the endless storm. And she reaches and grabs the piece of cheese that you're in, pulls it up to her mouth and chomps home, just inches away from where you currently are in it, and then puts it back down. She begins to chomp again as she says, yes, I'll have to take precious care of this. And she pulls out from her pocket the noon stone, opens up the chest, and it begins to glow. The noon stone, that is. And she looks out and she pulls the night stone that she pulls out, and then she pulls out a conch, this giant seashell. She says, well, there's not enough room for all of this in here. So even though those pitiful small folk were talking about it, I know they're no match for me. I think the stones are more important. And she puts the noon stone in with the night stone, and she says, I'll store this conch up in my bedroom for now. After I torture the dragon and make clones of those idiots and get the answers that I need, then it won't really matter. I'll plunge the world into an endless storm, and then I will rule and finally prove myself to Anam as the true ruler of giants. Yes, this is a good plan. And she closes the chest, sticks the conch in her pocket, says the somatic words, and the chest shrinks back down into a small size. She clips it on her necklace and tucks it into her shirt. Now to go deal with those children pesking around in my room again. And she stands up and walks away. You're just left with your legs dangling out from the cheese. That's where we'll end the session for now.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys. Thanks for playing. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys hopefully not in a month. Next time, guys. See you around. Peace.
Yeah,